The mood of compassion is synonymous to the mood of love. The mood of love is synonymous to the mood of service. So, service, love, and compassion are all the same. Love, you do it, you, when that heart is towards the Lord, it is love. When it is towards co-devotees, it is service. And when it is towards those who are not Krishna conscious, it is compassion. So, to the extent you have love, to that extent you'll have service, to that extent you'll have compassion. You cannot put on show of one if you don't have other two. It'll only be external. Because it's the same quality that is reflecting in all the places. Love for Krishna reflects as service and reflects as compassion.
एतच्छ्रुत्वा वचनं केशवस्य
कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमाना किरीटी
कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमाना
नमस्कृत्वा भूय एवाह कृष्णं सगद्गदं भीता प्रणम्य अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव प्रकीर्त्या जगत्प्रहर्षति अनुरज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्घा कस्माच्च तेनान्नमेरं महात्मा गरीयसे ब्रह्मणोऽपि आदिकर्त्रे अनन्तदेवेश जगन्निवास त्वमक्षरं सद् असत्तत्परं यत् त्वमादिदेवा पुरुषः पुराण त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् वेत्तासि वेद्यं च परं च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनन्तरूप वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्ते अस्तु सहस्रकृत्वा पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते नमः पुरस्ताद् अथ पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वथा एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वा सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्व सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तम् हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्छावः सार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एको तवापि अच्युत तत्समक्षम् तच्छामये त्वाम् अहम् अप्रमेयम् पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीया Natvam samosti abhyadika kutonyo lokatraye api apratima prabhava tasmat pranamya pranidhaya kayam prasadaye tvamahamishamidhyam piteva putrasya sakheva sakhyo priya priyarhasi teva sodum दृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रवर्तितं मनो मे प्रव्ययत् तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपम् प्रसीद देवश्च जगन्निवास किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रहस्तम् इच्छामि त्वां द्रष्टुमहं तथैव तेनैव रूपेण चतुर्भुजेन सहस्रबाहो भव विश्वमूर्ते Srila Prabhupada was in Kumbh Mela, and I think all of you went to Kumbh Mela last year. This year, I think, raise your hands if you went to Kumbh Mela. This year it happened, no? Just January. In the sense, okay, there was this Magh Mela. Sorry. Magh Mela. They have similar rush on the Magh Mela also in Prayag. So Srila, yes. Srila Prabhupada was in Kumbh Mela. He would go, and they observed that the devotees came up to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, we see the Mahants are sitting on the elephants, and the whole procession is going on of all the followers, and we see that happening so many places. They said, Prabhupada, we should put you on the elephant, and we will all do Sankirtan and do a procession to glorify you. And what did Srila Prabhupada say? What did Prabhupada say? Obviously, Prabhupada denied. Prabhupada said, yes, we will do a procession. We will put Radha and Krishna on top of the elephant, and I will lead from front, and we will go on a procession to glorify the Supreme Lordships, Shri Shri Radha Krishna. Right? So Srila Prabhupada is establishing this aspect that in this world, everybody is busy establishing themselves. Right? And Prabhupada is saying that we should be busy establishing Krishna in this world. What happens when people want to establish themselves? It's always constant competition, constant envy, and constant quarrel. That is the result of everybody wanting to establish oneself. Just like in homes, if every family member wants to establish their opinion and establish themselves as the foremost, what happens in the family? It becomes so much of rift, groupism, politics, so many things can happen within a small group, more than a Mahabharat, bloodshed in emotions. So Prabhupada is this is one principle that we see here, because in this particular chapter, the first part of the chapter, what we will revise, is Arjuna trying to establish the position of Krishna, of Krishna's universal form, and what is the mission of Krishna when he comes to this world. And then we also see the mission of the Lord to establish his devotee, the glory of his devotee. So Krishna is busy establishing the glory of his devotees, and devotees are busy establishing the position of Krishna. That's what you see here in these exchanges between Krishna and Arjuna. So we can learn a lesson in all our lives. If you really want to have very congenial, loving mood of relationships in your family, in your friends, in everyone, always focus on helping others becoming established. Always giving others the appreciation and the hot seat. And what happens when we are in the mood of service, in the mood of glorifying and giving others the credit? Will people accept the credit? If you give them the credit, if somebody glorifies you, Prabhuji, you are so wonderful, you are so something. Say, no, 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 I am not anything, and they will instead start speaking glory of somebody else or you. So when we are trying to be busy establishing others' glory, others' position, everybody also gets into that humble mood of trying to put each other in the forefront. And don't do it just like a technique. Otherwise, we'll become frustrated. Yes, if you do it as a ritual or a technique, it will create utmost frustration because people are expert in smelling each other's intent. They may not be able to smell the odor so well, but they can definitely smell each other's ego and smell the intent. So if you're genuinely wanting, okay, this is a good friend of mine and he's been so kind to me, so noble, and he's doing good work. So I appreciate, I don't have to flatter. I can say something very honestly. And an honest appreciation, you will see people regard it. And they become filled with emotions that my friend acknowledges me. Right? So Prabhupada is teaching this example through this chapter of the Gita that we should be busy establishing Krishna, Guru, devotees, and others. Then we will always have a spiritual family and Goloka Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place where everybody is trying to establish each other's glory. And this world is a place where everybody is trying to snatch glory from others and put themselves in the center. But what is the result of that? Nobody gets ahead. Nobody becomes happy. Nobody becomes peaceful. Prabhupada says when people have to carry crabs in ships, he says they don't close the lid. They have filled up with crabs, a container filled with crabs, and then yes, because if one crab wants to come out, the other one will catch him and pull him down. So that is called the crab mentality. You always want to pull others down and establish yourself. And when you're busy pulling others and establishing yourself, somebody else is behind pulling you and establishing themselves. So Prabhupada said there is no need of having a lid when there are so many crabs together. Right? And so in this world, that is what is the fashion that we see. So we can learn this lesson, what we are hearing here. So just we speak few words last time what we spoke, and then we will share today. In the last session, the first theme that we spoke about is Arjuna requesting Krishna to show the Vishwarupa, the universal form. And what did Arjuna see? First of all, Arjuna saw the whole universe from Garbhodakshai Vishnu to Brahma, the whole planetary systems. So he could see everything in one frame, which is completely impossible. When we are traveling, we cannot see so much in one frame. We have to move from one frame to see another frame. But you can see by Krishna's vision, Arjuna could see everything in the right perspective. That means Krishna, when he blesses a devotee, you can see everything in the right perspective in your life. He has shown in other episodes also, but here we see very special. Yes, that's Brahmanda God when he ate mud. That was thing. The second thing you see here, Krishna showed in his vision, he showed that all the living entities, from Devatas to Brahmaloka to all the Adityas, Rudras, everybody he could see in this vision at once. All the jivas. And he understood this is limitless. Limitless creatures, limitless entities, so many hands, so many legs, and so many limbs. That is the second vision he had. The third vision he had was the effulgence and the radiance was of 1,000 suns rising at once. Can you imagine? Now the summer sun is going to come, 1,000 suns coming together. But very interestingly, though it was like blinding radiance, Arjuna could see the the helmet, the ornaments, and various other things of Krishna. Right? So even in his radiance, Arjuna could see Krishna's beauty and Krishna's ornamentation. Huh? Though there was a difficult situation, but he could see the bhushana of the Lord. Right? And then he could see that how the Lord is actually the ultimate resting place of everyone. That means in Krishna, this whole universe, all the living entities, and all the radiance and opulences are resting in this one personality. Right? That means if you get audience and connection and this personality in your life, then remains nothing in the universe you don't become a part of. And we studied how Krishna is a source of unlimited universes. Here we are only seeing one universal form. So this is another lesson we can learn, that if we have Krishna, then everything in this universe plus what you cannot see is also included. That means if somebody works hard to get Krishna in his life, he is the most intelligent person. Because if you get Krishna, you get everything. But if you get everything, not necessarily you get Krishna. Make sense? Yes, if you get Krishna, you get everything. So they know. So Prabhupada said Krishna is like one and the whole world is like zeros. So even if you have 100 zeros, what is its value? Zero. And if you have one, then everything becomes valuable. So Krishna brings meaning to everything. So this is the fourth aspect he observed. And then he observed that how Krishna is the origin, he is the middle, and he is the end. He is the past, he is the present, he is the future. Literally he is everything. Right? Okay, we cannot look at past, present, and future at once. Whatever you focus on one, the other two are lost. But with Krishna, you can even keep future in place, past in place, and present in place. That means you can be like a Trikala Jnani and you will be so situated. Even though Arjuna did not know what is auspicious for him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, because Krishna knows the past, present, future of every warrior and also knows beyond what is kind of, cooking going on, Krishna would give the right advice to Arjuna and Arjuna would just follow and they would be victorious. Right? Isn't it? Jayadratha, he took a vow that he should, Arjuna took a vow the next day he would die. And then Krishna arranged for Jayadratha to be killed by Arjuna by putting a situation. But what happened? Krishna told him that he should drop Jayadratha's head in the lap of his father who is meditating hundreds of kilometers far away in a hermitage. Now, who knew that father of Jayadratha is meditating? And he is meditating that whoever makes the head of my son fall on the ground, it will burn to ashes. So that head went and fell into the lap of the father of Jayadratha, and he became surprised and he got up and the head fell from his lap. So the father's head burst into ashes. Right? So now who could strategize so much? Killing Jayadratha was the biggest thing. And now how to kill Jayadratha keeping the boon of his father? So only Krishna has the capacity, the origin, middle, end, past, present, future. Everything he can do. Right? Krishna is showing. And then Krishna is showing that in this particular universal form, he is seeing from the 14 planetary systems, everybody is paying obeisances and taking shelter of Krishna and saying, Pahimam, Pahimam, Sharanam, Sharanam. Taking Pahimam means, give me the shelter of your lotus feet. Liberate me from my situation. Trayate. Right? So in this way, they are all praying and taking shelter. So Brahma is taking shelter, Lord Shiva is taking shelter, all the Devatas are taking shelter, Yakshas are taking shelter, everybody is taking shelter of Krishna. That means he is the refuge of the whole universe. He is the only refuge. Any problem in the universe, you go to the Lord. That means in our life, who is the person we should go to if we have a difficulty? Krishna. Is there anybody more than that who can solve a situation? No. But the interesting part of going to Krishna is when you go to Krishna, Krishna will do what is most apt and most optimal and most suitable. That is Krishna's beauty. Right? Because he is not only all powerful, but he is all loving and all caring. Extremely. All intelligence comes from him. Right? And then Arjuna said, my dear Lord, seeing this vision of yours, I'm definitely put in amazement and wonder. Adbhuta. Right? Sometimes you see panoramic views, and you feel adbhut if you go to these places. So Arjuna is feeling adbhuta, but then a fear also comes into his heart. Like he sees all these devatas seeing this great form of the Lord. They are like some fear element. Fearfully, they're afraid. And Arjuna also seeing this form is feeling a little afraid. And then he sees something very interesting, which we spoke last time. He sees all Drona, Karna, and all the Maharathis on the battlefield crushed in the teeth of the time element, and getting killed. Mahabharat Yuddha, the end. Even before it started. The war is over. And Arjuna is saying the war is already finished. And he's praying to the Lord, oh my dear Lord, I offer my obeisances to you. You are the primal Lord. I want to know what is the mission of your appearance. First he asked to see the vision of the Lord. After the vision, he said, my dear Lord, you have appeared so fiercely, but what is your mission? Why have you come? Why are you appearing in this? What do you want to do in this huge form of the factor of time? He says. And what is the mission of the Lord? In the Gita, Krishna says, yes, paritranaya sadhunam nashaya chadshrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And as a factor of time, Krishna is working through all the time. He is destroying everything. And Krishna says, oh Pandavas, except you, everybody in this battlefield is going to get killed. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam. So that dharma samsthapanarthaya. So that the Pandavas, who are the virtuous people, they will be established. So the mission of the Lord is to establish sadhunam. In the fourth chapter. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatman. This is the most, when the Mahabharat serial came, this was the, when the factor of time, they show the wheel moving. This prayer every day. 4.7. This too we should memorize. आपके भगवान का क्या मिशन है? Right? To protect the devotees and to annihilate the demons and to establish dharma. The dharma of how one can come back to Krishna's lotus feet and perfect his life. So, universal form spoke. The fierce universal form from top to bottom spoke that my mission is to paritrana, to destroy all the miscreants excepting the Pandavas. Right? And then he asks, and then he says, what is my plan? How am I going to fulfill my mission? What is the plan I have? He says, I will fulfill my mission through my devotees. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. Right? We were talking the other week. Savyasachi. Savyasachi means one who is expert in shooting arrows. Right? Sabyasachi. So Krishna's mission he is going to accomplish through Arjuna. He says, "Oh Arjuna, you shall fight and I shall work through you, and you will create this mission." Right? This is the plan of the Lord. The plan of the Lord is to fulfill his mission through the devotees. Yes, Krishna was there with him by his side. Right? He is the source of all supernatural powers. Now, we understand what is the plan the Lord has technically for devotees. But now we may have a question. What is Krishna's plan for me in my life? Right? So Krishna is speaking that I have a plan for you. What is the plan? This is where we concluded last time. It's a beautiful purport. We took a note also. So 4 things Krishna said. How do you understand what is Krishna's plan for you and me in our own lives? We know the mission, we know the plan. But specifically, if we want to know, how would you know? The first thing he says, every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is so kind and merciful to his devotees that he wants to give credit to his devotees who carry the plan according to his desire. So for me and for you, Krishna wants to glorify each of us. He wants us to get established and receive our grace, receive Krishna's grace. This is the first plan. You want to ask a question to Krishna. Hey Thakur ji, आप क्या चाहते हो मेरे जीवन से? मैं चाहता हूँ, नहीं, भगवान कहते हैं पहले तो मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ कि मैं आपको चाहता हूँ. I love you. I really am. And because I love you, I want to establish you. Your glory. Right? So Krishna says, live your life according to my desire. So you will give me that capacity to be able to give you that grace and establish you. Isn't it? So that is the first thing Krishna says. And then Krishna says, life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understands the Supreme Lord through the medium of spiritual master. How specifically should I understand? Krishna speaks through parampara, through Srila Prabhupada, through the devotees, through our teachers. These are all Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Who are the 3? Yes. And you will see we are always surrounded by these 3. You read the Shastra, you have sadhus and you have spiritual teachers, and you will get an indication of what is Krishna's plan for us personally. That is the second point. Like Prabhupada took the plan of his life from his Guru Maharaj to spread Lord Chaitanya's mission of the message of Krishna consciousness all over the world. He followed. His Guru followed the mandate given by his Guru. So everybody in the parampara is following the mandate of their previous teachers. Because you understand it's parampara. So what Krishna is speaking is coming down, down, down through the parampara. The third thing he says, now this is very interesting. The plan of the Lord is understood by his mercy. How will we understand the plan of the Lord? By his mercy. He will give us blessings. When we are eager to live our life according to the plan of Krishna, Krishna will reveal. Prabhupada said, when a devotee is sincerely trying from inside, Krishna will give indication. And unless we get those indications, very difficult to be confirmed. Theek cholche ki na. Isn't it? We get a confirmation from within and without. Within from Paramatma, without from devotees and the association. We get a confirmation. Without from the association of devotees, sadhu, shastra, you will get. And Prabhupada said the plan of the devotee is as good as the plan of the Lord. right? Plans of devotees. Why? Because the devotee is only busy fulfilling Lord's plan. And then conclusion, he says, one who follows such plans will be victorious in the struggle for existence. And where is the struggle for existence? Material world. He said, if you want to be victorious, understand the mission, the plan, and our specific plan the Lord has for us in the associate devotees. So if you're sincerely trying, Krishna will give us the direction. Right? So the direction is not coming, we should test on our sincerity. Like that. So this is what we studied the last time when we got together. This is the way, the mission of the Lord, the plan of the Lord, and the plan of Krishna in our lives. And today we are talking on this aspect where Arjuna, seeing this universal form with faltering voice, with trembling self, is speaking what is the mission and plan of the devotee. We said the plan of a devotee is Lord's plan. So what is plan of the devotee and what is his mission? Right? That is these verses that we're talking. So as Arjuna sees the form of the Lord, Arjuna becomes joyful and starts paying obeisances. And you will see so many verses. He says, my dear Lord, I pay you thousands of obeisances. I pay obeisances from all sides, from front, from behind, from, all places. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Right? So who is a devotee? Devotee is always joyful to see the Lord and surrender to Him. That is a devotee. What does a devotee do in all situations? Become joyful and becomes sheltered. Because paying obeisances means what? Yes. You're humbling and surrendering. So here he says that what he sees in this universal form is that the whole Mahabharat war has been already over because the Lord has already assassinating all the Maharathis. That means the Lord is already the doer, who is like the be all and end of all, who is making it happen. So when Arjuna saw, initially he saw this oceanic army and was thinking, how would it happen? And when he saw this form, he was completely joyful. Victory is ours. There is no problem. Boss is on our side. He was so enlivened and he started offering obeisances. That means the more we put Krishna in the focus of our lives, we will become joyful, we will become hopeful, and we will become completely confirmed of our success. No. He will right now only say, my dear Lord, difficult form. I want to see your 400 form, and then Krishna will show his, Saumya form of his own personality. Right? Because the Lord, the devotee is more excited to have a loving relation with Krishna, not a fearful, respectful relationship. Right? So the first thing that we hear here is a devotee is joyful. Sura and asura. Who is a sura? जो भगवान की सुर में सुर मिलाते हैं वो है सुर, और जो भगवान की सुर में सुर नहीं मिलाते हैं वे है बेसुर, असुर. Right? Imagine one person is singing, all devotees are singing, and somebody is singing in an opposite meter. He spoils the whole environment, and that is asura. He does not want to follow the plan of the Lord. The Lord says Brahminical culture, dharma, devotion. Hiranyakashipu says, kill the brahmanas, kill the cows, stop the yagyas. So they are asuras. Devotees always surrender, demons always challenge the position of the Lord. They don't take shelter. So the asuric mentality means you don't become joyful, you don't take shelter. And when do When do people really take shelter of Lord? Yes. When charo khane chit, checkmate, and you are made to be put on your knees, then he says, Bhagwan, looking for you. You become helpless, then you take shelter. Right? So, we understand in Kali Yuga, the sura and asura is in our heart. The sura in us become joyful and hopeful, aligning with Krishna. And the aspect of the bad element, the asura, does not allow us to pay obeisances and acknowledge the Lord in our life. We are like, oh, I will do it. I will figure it out. I have the strategy. I have experience. I have so much knowledge. I have done so much in my past. And then you try to figure it out, it doesn't work. Yeah, you figure it out, doesn't work. Then you become a little nervous. Oh, I couldn't do. Oh, I'll figure it out. And then you try it, and Krishna also knows how to humble people, Especially devotees, Krishna becomes so ecstatic to make them humble. Because he wants to have a loving exchange. Look at relationships when people are a little proud. How pleasurable it is to deal with them. You like to deal with people who are a little puffed up? You're like, when will they get away? But imagine something happens and they become humbled. Then how do they deal with us? And how do you feel to deal with them? Very nice. So even Krishna knows my devotees, when they're humbled, then they will have loving relation with everybody. you know. So as devotees, we have an amazing problem. What is the problem? The Lord wants to make devotees successful. Right? See the paradox. The Lord wants the devotee to be successful, but success brings pride to a devotee, which can take him away. Lord wants to establish his devotee and make him successful, and the success of a devotee can bring him pride. Usually brings pride. Brings him pride, which can take him away from Krishna. So a devotee should know the first pariksha is to become successful, and the second pariksha is to be humble in spite of being successful. Then you have really passed. Then you are really successful. The first success is to fulfill, and the second success is to become is to be humble in spite of being successful. It needs a lot of substance from within to be humble, even though you are successful. That means you attribute your success to, the Lord, all the devotees who have contributed, the team members who have contributed, the family who has supported, and you always share the credit with them. And usually, only a devotee can do this. Without being Krishna conscious, very difficult. You can put on a show of humility, but very soon it will get exposed. You can only become humble when you see Krishna's universal form. Like, you see Krishna is so great, then for us to become humble is very easy. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj once said, in a court of a king told his ministers and everybody, he took a slate or he took a board and he drew a line. Now he said, make this line shorter without editing anything on this line. You understood? On a board, he drew one line. Yes. If you draw a line and you don't edit it, but you have to make it smaller, it says then draw a big line next to it. Then what will happen to this line? It will become shorter. Similarly, when we forget Krishna, it is like that line. We are only all in all. But when we read Shastra, understand Krishna's greatness in this universe, Krishna's devotee's greatness is like drawing the big line. And when you draw the big line, we become insignificant. We remember the great acharyas, we will become humble. In the morning, His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was speaking. He said one devotee became very inspired from Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami would only sleep 2 hours in the night. So this devotee said, I also want to follow the footsteps of Raghunath Das Goswami. Right? So he also started sleeping only 2 hours in the day. But Maharaj said one problem. A young man said one problem. After he started this practice of sleeping 2 hours a day, he said we would take him for Sankirtan. We would take him in the metro trains, underground trains. The moment he would sit down, he would fall asleep. So they would get him into a train and he would sit down, all will sit down, and everybody will say, yes, station mein utarna hai. So all devotees will get down and that devotee will be sleeping up till the whole end of the journey after an hour. And after everyone gets emptied, the tram person will say, Arey, get down now. Then he will have to take a train in the reverse. So we can try to imitate Raghunath Das Goswami, but we may become a poor imitation. It will not work. So like that, when we see the Lord, when we see the devotees, then we understand, hum to bahut chote hain. Right? We think we are special. Look at other devotees, look at so many, and we realize, oh, they're not so much. Like that. So that humility, and that is the second success of the devotee. So the more we become Krishna conscious, we will get Krishna's inspiration to become successful. And then by Krishna's cognizance, we will become humble. The more you know Krishna, the more humble you become. The less you know Krishna, the more proud we become. So what is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee? Pride and humility. Sura is always obeisances. Now asura, why? I'm ready to challenge the Lord. Right? So here it says that the devotees were joyful and the asuras, they flee away. They flee away. They don't have anything to do with the Lord. Right? So this is the first thing he says, how a devotee always becomes joyful and takes shelter of the Lord. And he understands that the Lord's actions are good. They are good for the devotee who become joyful, and they are good for the demons who are becoming fearful and fleeing, seeing the universe. Because seeing the universal form, the demons become fearful. Hooray, they will come and attack us. Devotees are surrendering, demons are running away. So then what is Arjuna saying? Arjuna is now working. Why should the demons not offer obeisances unto you, Krishna? This is his argument. He's becoming so joyful. All the devatas are becoming joyful. Why are the demons not becoming joyful? Why are they not paying obeisances? So what is this going on? What is Arjuna doing? He is like a preacher. Why the materialistic people are not becoming devotees? Why are they not chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare? Krishna is so wonderful. Why they are not with wonderful Krishna and their life is so tragic? I want them also to chant and dance and feast and have celebration and make the life so happy, filled with happiness. So Arjuna is joyful, but he is feeling for those demons who are not paying obeisances. That is the concern. So devotee has this emotion. He's always thinking about welfare of others. Because he himself, herself, is already joyful seeing Krishna. Like here, Arjuna is joyful because Mahabharata war is already won. Right? So when you have Krishna on your side, victory is certain. Vijayi. Choosing Krishna in your life declares victory in your life. Victory is a detail at that time. So Arjuna right now is glorifying Krishna, seeing the universal form, for everybody to understand how Krishna is worthy of paying obeisances. So what is Arjuna trying to do? Establish the glory of the Lord so that everybody pays obeisances. Before this, we read how Krishna's plan is to establish and give credit to Arjuna and work through Arjuna the plan. And here, what is Arjuna doing? His plan is to help everyone, help establish Krishna and make everyone pay obeisances and become joyful, hopeful, and successful. So, as devotees, we are concerned in making the whole world Krishna conscious. Why? Because they'll become happy. And Srila Prabhupada went from Vrindavan all the way to America, in the fag end of his life, not to see America. He said, old days, I should see the whole world. No. He went actually to make the world happy. He was happy in Vrindavan. He wanted the Vrindavan's mercy to be spread all over the world, to make everyone's life auspicious. This is the mood of compassion. Right? The mood of compassion is synonymous to the mood of love. The mood of love is synonymous to the mood of service. So service, love, and compassion are all the same. Love, you do it, when that heart is towards the Lord, it is love. When it is towards co-devotees, it is service. And when it is towards those who are not Krishna conscious, it is compassion. So to the extent you have love, to that extent you'll have service, to that extent you'll have compassion. You cannot put on show of one if you don't have other two. It'll only be external. Because it's the same quality that is reflecting in all the places. Love for Krishna reflects as service and reflects as compassion. And what is Arjuna doing to help the demons get convinced? He is glorifying Krishna. That is called Kirtan. We perform Sankirtan to glorify Krishna. We give talks, we do programs, we do events, we do festivals, we build temples. What is the purpose of doing all these activities of Krishna? What are we trying to do? We're trying to convince those to understand Krishna's glory. Krishna's glory. So Arjuna is speaking verse after verse in this connection of how Krishna, he says, Krishna is the supreme creator. He's the creator of Brahmaji, creator of all, and Brahmaji is the creator of all living entities. So the source of everyone is Krishna. Prabhupada says, how do you understand Krishna? Like, you can understand Krishna from your own family. It's like, you come from your father. Your father comes from his father. His father comes from his father. So if you keep father ke 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 father ke, whom will you go to? You'll first go to, everyone has a gotra. You will go to the sage, who is a Prajapati, who is the son of Brahmaji. Each of us have a gotra, right? So it's a sage. The gotra actually refers to one rishi, who is the son of Brahmaji, who is a Prajapati, right? And then you will go to the son of that rishi the father of that rishi is Brahmaji. And Brahmaji is, who's the father of Brahmaji? Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And like that, if you go, whom will you go to? Krishna. Adi Kartare, the supreme creator. So everybody's lineage comes from Krishna. Adir Govind Sarva is a cause. So this is the first thing he says. The second thing he says, Krishna is Mahatma. Mahatma means the most generous and unlimited. Arjuna is like words, he's using words of glorification. He's in Adbhuta Rasa, but what he's doing, he's glorifying Krishna for people to get convinced of. Mahatma. So as devotees, what is our job? Our job is to help people get convinced of Krishna's wonderful glory so that people can take Krishna's shelter and become happy. So now Arjuna is speaking from the perspective of how everyone there can understand. We may have to speak it from a perspective, the same thing according to the time, place, and circumstance. Right? We'll have to speak it. Like, in the Shastra it says, Mhm. No, that's another pastime where, okay, we will get to it in the conclusion. Otherwise, we will detour. We'll speak on it in the conclusion, right? So all of us, what should we learn? We should glorify Krishna according to the time, place, circumstance. Just like the Shastric example is, chariot and the driver. So if for body and soul. So today, if you have to speak to somebody, वो बोलेंगे कि शरीर रथ की तरह है और पैसेंजर आत्मा है. भाई रथ कहाँ है यहाँ पे? So Prabhupada, what is the example he gave? Car and driver. So everybody can relate. There is a car and there is a driver. Car is separate. Car is the body. What do we call ahankar? Yes, I'm in the car, but I'm not the car. So I'm not ahankar. Aham car. Everybody is saying. Right? सब अपने अहंकार के वर्धन के लिए जीते हैं, मतलब कार के सर्विसिंग के लिए जीते हैं. कार का ओवरहॉलिंग हो, कार का सर्विसिंग हो, राइट. बट अहम कार नहीं है, अहम दास है. अहम करता नहीं है, कृष्ण करता है, हम दास हैं. सो वी speak the same philosophy, but in a way people can understand according to the circumstance. This is how devotees will have to play the role of Arjuna, right? So he says Krishna is Mahatma. Mahatma means most merciful and unlimited. And unlimited means Krishna's influence is everywhere. Now this is very nice for Yash Prabhu, right? He is always meeting the influential ones. So he says Ananta means Krishna has influence over every single atom, single place. There is no one more influential. Ananta Bhagavan, our Prabhuji. The most, and he's also into PR. Right. Today after I read it, then I felt why Maharaj gave him such a name. Till now I thought Ananta is unlimited, but here I read Ananta unlimited. Ananta means influence everywhere. Not just everywhere, but सब जगह रह के क्या फायदा अगर influence नहीं. It says influence everywhere. The energy of the Lord is everywhere, influence everywhere. So if you have Krishna's collaboration, anything you cannot do. Arjuna is telling, if you have Krishna on your side, impossible will be a word which doesn't exist in your dictionary. And Prabhupada would tell his disciples to do something. They were printing the Chaitanya Charitamrita, one volume, like in 1.5 months. And Prabhupada was very unhappy that we are doing it so slow. So Rameshwar Maharaj was the BBT, head. So Prabhupada said, what is this? And Prabhupada said, I want the whole 9 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrit in 2 months. And they were doing like month. And then the first reflex of Rameshwar Maharaj was, impossible. And Prabhupada immediately looked back at Rameshwar Maharaj and said, impossible is a word in fool's dictionary. Right? And, the Guru has given you instruction. The empowerment will come and you can do it. Rameshwar Maharaj, right at that time, said, okay, Prabhupada, and he got into some planning of how to make this happen. What, one book in 1.5 months to 9 books in 2 months. And all the devotees, all the painters, all the editors, all the printers, all got together, strategized, and worked literally 24 cross 7. It's like, one painter is painting and he falls asleep, 10 hours painting. The next painter takes the brush and continues the painting and finishes the plate. Like that, the whole planning was done, and in 2 months, 9 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita were out in Prabhupada's hands. This is history. That devotee Rameshwar Prabhu is there in Mayapur. He will see him sometimes. No, he's right now. I could see him in Mayapur. That devotee, Rameshwar Maharaj. Yes, he's Prabhupada's early disciple. Right? But the point is, with Prabhupada, everybody felt we can take over this world in no time. But Prabhupada was like that, completely convinced of Krishna's blessings. Prabhupada sent the first 3 couples to London. Said, go and preach in London. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu said, if you want to create influence, we should meet George Harrison. We should make we should make George Harrison a devotee. They strategized. The Beatles should become devotees. And they did it. They dreamt it. They desired it. They went around and they did it. And George Harrison, looking at Shyam Sundar Prabhu, called him into the office. He said, where were you? I was looking for all of you. And he became a devotee. And then he made this album of Hare Krishna temple. And it was a top of the pops all over the world by the Beatles. So literally the Hare Krishna Mahamantra became like playing in every nook and corner of the world in the hippie land. Hare Krishna. All over the world. Hare Krishna became a household name. See, Krishna also has a style. What is his style? He says, if one person comes and does something, then where will all the devotees come together and cherish the offering? Krishna, when he comes, he would like many connected, everybody doing something, and everybody heartfully welcomes and makes something, and so many people become Krishna. Prabhupada said, making temples is the means of connecting all the people who have money in Krishna's service. So their devotion will begin from there. For sadhus, 100 square feet, 50 square feet, and our preaching, have a tree, have a place, whatever, you sit down and chant Hare Krishna and discuss Krishna Katha. How much do we need? The Prabhupada said, when you make temples, you get all the people in this world to come together. They are not chanting Hare Krishna, but they can offer some, artha, and in that way, their anartha will go away. Prabhupada said. So temple is a means. Okay. There you go. Temple is a means of giving every person to become connected to Krishna by giving his hard-earned money. And then their feelings get connected and they get engaged into doing some seva. They identify, oh, this is a temple that I made. So my children will know it, my generation will know it, and they will attribute to it. So this is Krishna's genius, Prabhupada's genius. Right? Any project Prabhupada took up, it was not just for the sake of making it happen. It had a purpose of making all the asuras pay obeisances. Now when we say asura, it is like that mentality which is taking us away from Krishna and not making us hopeful, joyful, and successful. Right? So Krishna will make his devotees work so that we become more heartfully connected. See, Krishna will not appear so easily. He is also like a very clever person. Lago. When you're heartfully, fully giving yourself, then he will say, okay, Mother Yashoda, you tried your best from morning to evening to tie me up, and you couldn't, I'll get tied. This is Krishna. Is Nitai Gauranga any problem to make a project? No. But he has a style. You could be Mother Yashoda with the most amount of capacities, but Krishna is inconceivable, Achintya. He's Ananta, right? When we humbly serve Him and show compassion, then it will happen. That's how Prabhupada taught us. So really, that's what here Arjuna says. Prabhupada says that Krishna's plan is always good for sura and asura. There's no bad in Krishna. Krishna's plan is always auspicious. So in this way, Arjuna is glorifying Ananta. He says Devesh, Devesha. Devesha means Isha of all the Devatas, controller of all the Devatas. He said Jagan Nivas, the shelter of the whole universe. Right? In this, he says Aksharam. Aksharam means one who never fails. Shara means one who fails. Akshara means one who never fails. So if you're with Krishna, you never fail in the purpose of your life. Right? He says, my dear Lord, you're the oldest. You're the refuge. You're the knower of everything. You are beyond the modes. You pervade everywhere. You are air. You're supreme controller. You're fire. You're water. You're moon. You're Brahma. Your great grandfather. I offer my obeisance 1,000 times, again and again. Oh Master of limitless might, you are everything. So in this way, Arjuna is speaking words after words to establish Krishna's position, glories. So we have to study the Shastra and learn the glories of the Lord and help others also glorify. That is called Kirtan. Kirtan means Kirti. Kirti gaan karna matlab Kirtanam karna. Sankirtan matlab samyak rupena Kirti. Glorifying. Like if 20 of us are together singing and chanting the Hare Krishna, all the people who are passing by or who see, what will they understand? They will understand, oh, they are glorifying Krishna. Oh, we understand. They're glorifying and they're so joyful. I also want to be joyful. I am not so joyful. I'm sad. I want to join them. So the devotee association is the most magnetic thing in this world. When people see devotees humbly, lovingly dealing with each other with no competition and envy and glorifying the Lord, that is the association. Nobody cannot get convinced about Krishna consciousness. When you look at an association which is filled with devotion and filled with loving affection for each other, where they're busy establishing Krishna and other devotees. Isn't it? People may or may not get convinced of philosophy at all times, but they cannot but miss an example of a devotee, example of a Vaishnava Sangha. And usually whenever somebody comes to the Sangha of Vaishnavas or devotees, they will keep testing. Pramanik hai na? What is the agenda? What is the agenda? Because people know, ये अच्छा लग रहा है, इधर invest करना है, but प्रामाणिक है ना? People will keep checking. And once they clearly check, then they'll commit their lives. Right? So the time it takes because of the doubt and it's taking time. But the moment they get convinced that these are good people and these have good intent and they're Krishna conscious, they're compassionate people will immediately join. And that is what Prabhupada said, we can make the whole world Krishna conscious. And the secret is the community of devotees. When we have a wonderful community of devotees and association, you preach to someone and bring them in association. They will say, no, I also want. I'm in the struggle for existence. I want to become happy. And here it looks happiness is around. I can see their faces. They're not trying to be happy. Like, today's world, people go to parties, people go to gatherings, and everybody is trying to show that they're happy. Trying their best. No, I am the happiest. You're not the happiest, I am the happiest. And then everybody will give their words of wisdom and speech establishing themselves over others. I have this, I have this, you have this, I have this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And every single person knows what a plasticity going on. What a big joke going on. Right? That's why party you can go of all, but you don't hang around with everybody. You only hang around with few people who are genuinely connecting heart of heart. Like you can be yourself in that association. You don't have to put on a show. Actually, if you put on a show, then life becomes unreal. Life is unreal. So saralata, Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada said, भक्तों में पहला क्वालिटी होना चाहिए सरलता. सरलता मतलब अंदर जो है बाहर वही होना चाहिए. तब प्रामाणिक संबंध बनेंगे. नहीं तो भक्तों के समाज में अगर बनावटीपन होगा, अंदर बाहर अलग होगा, तो फिर जमेगा नहीं. उसमें फिर भक्ति स्पॉन्टेनियस नहीं होगी. So he said saralta. The association of devotee, there should be saralta, simplicity. So like this Krishna, here we see I was telling how Arjuna is establishing Krishna's position. So we establish Krishna's position by doing Sankirtan and by speaking the glory of the Lord. Right? And one another theme we will speak for the day and then we'll conclude is Krishna, when Arjuna is speaking here, Krishna is speaking, Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I know how to purchase you. Right? What is Arjuna saying? I know how to purchase you. Obviously. Krishna is giving a blank check. There is a blank check that Krishna has signed. And Arjuna says, I have that blank check. Right? If somebody gives you a blank check and unlimited money you can remove. So how much money can you remove from that? अगर कोई आपको अपना blank check दे, इसमें कितना भी निकाल सकते? No. Yes. As much money he has. If you put beyond it, the bounce हो जाएगा. But yes, if your contact is big, then as many zeros. So Yash is also right in one sense. Right? So if Krishna gives you blank check, keep hitting zeros. So Arjuna says, there is a blank check of Krishna. And by that blank check, you can purchase Krishna. And what is that blank check? Love. Unlike devotion, if you bring it, is equal to love. Krishna gets charmed by our simple love for him. You don't charm Krishna by any other way. Krishna has the most charming things, most charming people. Right? So how do we charm Krishna? We charm Krishna by our simple love. Genuinely. We genuinely go and pay obeisances. Mind your Lord, I'm your servant. That's all. The only point, see, chanting is serving. Paying obeisances is serving. Glorifying is serving. Building temple is a serving. Preaching is serving. So, but whatever you do it out of a genuine affection for Krishna. Not for any other purpose other than making Krishna established. So that everybody will pay obeisances. So I'll just say how do we understand. Here the verse says, Arjuna, when he sees this form, first he's explaining the glorification. Then he says, oh my dear Lord, I thought of you as my friend. And I used to address you, oh Krishna, oh Yadav, oh friend. The Yadav बोलना मतलब, किसी के घराने को बुलाना मतलब it's like mocking, little in, Kind of. Yes, it is said. Yes, they ate together, slept. It said sometimes on the bedstead you could see Krishna sleeping and Arjuna is sleeping with his feet on Krishna. अभी नींद में क्या पता चले, नींद में पता चले लात भगवान के ऊपर लगा के है. And then what do friends do? Make fun of each other, right? Speaking impertinently. हाँ बहुत देख लिया, ठीक है, लड़ लिए, बहुत कुछ कर लिए, आप ही तो महान हो, और कौन है यहाँ पे महान? So Arjuna is saying, my dear Lord, I called you Yadava, I called you my friend. Please forgive me for my madness. I didn't know who you are. I didn't know who you are. This Vishwarupa. I thought you are my friend. I have dishonored you so many times. I just relaxed with you, laid on the same bed, ate together, and sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends. I jested about you. Like, can you make fun of somebody in public and still not get misunderstood? Possible? Public में आप किसी का मजाक उड़ाए and still you get away. Possible? How close the relationship has to be. Huh? No. Get away means the relationship is still pleasant and very charming. It has to be such a close friendship. Just like sometimes you see mother and child. The child says something to the mother, even after being grown up. The mother doesn't take offense. Would say that to your father. Other relationships, it is not so easy. The strength of the bonding and emotion needs much depth to be able to take. Now, I can say that for my father, not kind of, right? As I said, I don't lift my mother's phone call. She will always think maybe he's busy. But if I don't lift my father's call, she said, don't call me, consider your father is dead. Why are you taking so much load? I just didn't lift your call. I was in the bathroom. I was here. I was there. What should I do? When I surrender, then he says, okay. Anyway, that's also love. But you can only get away. So Arjuna is telling, I jested in front in the association so many. Krishna, I was mad. Please excuse me. And then Prabhupada writes a purport, which is the blank check. Right? Prabhupada says, Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he plays with Arjuna as a friend. This is Krishna's personality. Of being so influential, supreme creator, sarva karana karanam. But what is his happiness? To be with his devotee as a friend. It charms him to be a loving friend of his devotees. It charms him to be a loving son of devotee being a mother. It charms him to become a lover of his devotees. And the Lord greatly relishes this reciprocation of love with his devotees. This relationship between the Jiva and Krishna is eternal. And because the Jiva has forgotten this relationship, he is in struggle for existence. Because he has missed a loving friend of such intimacy. So what is Arjuna doing, helping everyone pay obeisances to again help everyone get into that friendly relationship with Krishna? It's not that Krishna only had that relationship with me. He has it with every jiva. Right? So what is preaching? Preaching is helping everyone purchase Krishna by love. Right? That's why our movement is a movement of spreading love. Yes, to make them a friend of Krishna, make them a lover of Krishna. Isn't it? And our lives will become lit up the more we experience a relationship with Krishna. Krishna should become our companion. And that's what Prabhupada is teaching us. You are here in your chores, but you can be with Makan Chor. For everything, you could turn to him. Your every worry, He's ready to give you audience. There are people in general will not have time at all time, but Krishna has all time for you. He says, I'm already here. Do you have some time for me? Yes, get attached to. Yeah. Yes, for us, for us, uh, Krishna becomes a background and our life becomes the foreground. But we have to grow up to making Krishna our foreground and background, which will give beauty to Krishna, like that. So Arjuna is very kindly, though in Adbhuta Rasa, he's showing so much compassion and telling you, and Krishna is reciprocation, that everybody can be in this deep love with Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Shri Vishwarupa Darshan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare